viewers all over the world. A time has been set, a moment has been allocated. But what is interesting about today's episode is I reach out to the younger generation, the Gen Z, the ones whose blood has been said to ooze as chocolate. This is a moment in time that has been set aside by our Father in the Lord. I welcome you viewers all over the world. Set out a time. Allocate the mental space. Because what you're about to learn is about something that is at the core of society. Our father, Prophet Dr. Ouma is here. And therefore, I welcome you to another episode of The Voice. My co-host, welcome today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure that being with you. Thank you for giving us an opportunity so that you can give us an enlightenment on how, on dealing with matters in our lives today. So, Papa, just to go straight, how did you met with Mom?
Our mother. How did it all begin? How did the bliss of not just the calling, but then how did it start knowing that now this is the one?
You know, I met Mom in the church. I was one of the associate pastors in that church. And I was serving there, and she was one of the members of that church. Actually, she joined through evangelism we did. So when we did evangelism, a friend who knows her invited her through, when we say everybody invites somebody. So a friend who knows her, they used to be in a church before, invited her to the church. And so we met in a church setup. And surprisingly, I thought I would marry somebody else as of that time. But now when my time to marry came, so we were praying to know what is the will of God. What was in my mind was not the woman of God, it was somebody else. But when I started praying, the Lord started speaking. At first I was like, okay. So I had to adjust to what the Lord is saying. And then also, I had to also tell her to come to terms. Because even as she was not like, what are you saying? Yeah. So it was kind of serving together, getting to know each other. And even when I was praying for who to marry, she was among the people who were helping me to pray. Because even her, she didn't know. Even me, I didn't know. But then the Lord spoke because we had a team. Through our man of God, who is my bishop, was a reverend then. We then advised. When the Lord spoke, said this is what the Lord is saying. We prayed about it. Told her to also pray. I prayed about it. God confirmed through many ways, which then we are here.
So, after knowing that this was the will of God, this was where God was leading, what was the change in the mindset? Because one thing we know is from one season to the next day, God requires us to align with the needs of that season. What was the change in the mindset when you knew that now you had to prepare for marriage? What was now going through your mind when you knew this was where God was headed?
When you talk about marriage, you talk about responsibility. When you talk about marriage, you talk about commitment. When you talk about marriage, you talk about, separation. Because remember, you are going into a realm you've not been into. And you are going to now deal with an environment you've never been into. You must now be committed to somebody. And now you must now be responsible. Because remember, you are not only accountable to God because of the woman you marry, you're also accountable to her and her family. So yes, you are like, so there's a commitment. You are like, there is a commitment. You're like, there's a lot that goes into your mind, but primarily three things. One, commitment, responsibility, and consecration, separation. You marry and you have to be separated. Because, the Bible said marriage is holy, and God is the author of marriages. So what happens is, when you marry like that, what comes into your mind? There is no place like, now I will have to drop this, my wife, get another girlfriend. If she's not going to be good, I'll drop her and marry another one. So you separate yourself fully, meaning you are going into it not to live. Not if it's not good now, I would think, if it's bad, you are there. If it's good, you are there. So that's what was in my mind. I was like, okay, so I'm into this. You know, that reality. Yeah. As opposed to when you are dating or you have a girlfriend, you can disagree with that girlfriend, you have another one. But when you marry, it's a different story because the Bible doesn't allow divorce. The Bible says God hates divorce. And if God hates divorce, we the believers, we need to also hate what God hates. If God hates something, and I believe in God, then I should hate what God hates. Yeah.
In those early days, you mentioned that you were now functioning under the office of an associate pastor. So, what we'd like to also understand, at that point in time when God now spoke, were you ready? Particularly, we hear things like the finance or any other things in terms of, as you were saying, Papa, the understanding of responsibility. Would you say that when God spoke, you were ready?
If I said I was ready, I would lie because I was made to believe I was ready by my leadership then. You know, it's a mistake that has happened that I wouldn't advise, whereby our church doctrine required that for you to become a pastor, you must be married. Okay? So whether you are of age or not, so either you leave pastorate work or you marry. And because now serving God and the fire for God was in us, we said we will not leave serving God. If it's marriage, even if we don't marry now, we will marry sometime. So even though I don't have the money to say I'm ready financially, age-wise, I think it was fairly okay. But personally, I was ready if you talk about age, but if you talk about money, I wasn't. Because that time I think I was in a phase of my life that some things had happened. And it was required of me as one of the associate pastors that you need to have a wife. And then that brought a challenge. And then I had to quickly also tell my wife, who then was not even my girlfriend, who then we were never even friends. I didn't even have a phone number. We were in the same church. But Mama didn't even have my phone number, like we talk or chat. You know, somebody you can say, okay, he was my friend, you know, we never dated. Once the Lord spoke, then we went straight and fixed the date for wedding. Then I looked for money, looked for friends, my family. We went and paid dowry with what I would raise that time. Did the deal, blah, 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 took her to my place, sold my home. In 3 months, we did the wedding. No dating. I think even 3 months is plenty. There should be 2 or 3, so you can confirm.
3 months, my brother. 3 months.
Between the day God spoke and the wedding day. So you can tell there was a lot to be done in between here. Introducing her to my people, her taking me for introduction to her place, coming back, meeting my team, preparing a wedding committee, that friends and whatever, and preparing family, and blah, blah, blah. Before you know it, preparing to take dowry. The money is not there, so you know you're also looking for money for dowry, looking for money for wedding. So what I would say is this. When it is God's plan, sometimes it must not meet your value standards. Because you as a person, your arrangement is to have it this way. Everybody have what they are praying. Right? Everybody have a dream. Me, if I were to marry, this is how I would want to marry. As for me, this is how I would want it. But sometimes the way you want it may not be the way God wants it. So then that brings... So what I would say is, on one side I kind of almost blamed like my bishop, who was then my reverend. But again, it was not his fault because I felt it was my time. Only that I didn't have the money to do it within the timing. Because they were supposed to make me a senior pastor of a branch church. Are you following? At that time, the lady I wanted to marry who I thought I would marry. You know, there's somebody, when you begin to get to the age of marriage, even if you have not told them, but psychologically you say, maybe I can talk to this one. Even as you are praying, you feel your spirit is leading you. I learned when I started inquiring from where she's coming, that she's coming from my community. That traditionally I can't marry from our community. Remember, we've been discussing with Bishop, you need to marry because now I'm leaving this branch. So you're going to be senior pastor. And you cannot be senior pastor without a wife. From our ministry standards. Then, I'd been ordained pastor as a single young man. But now when they want to give you a church to pastor, it was required of them, one of the things, you must be married. Because the Bible says a pastor must be a man of one wife. So they were saying, how can we make you a pastor of a church you don't have more than one wife? Because meaning it was like a requirement. So meaning you need to be married. And then because I love God, I want to serve God. I said, okay, there's no problem. If I don't marry now, I'll marry tomorrow. The problem is the time through which this thing was done. But I don't blame anybody. Because I later learned it was the will of God. And sometimes the will of God will not be done your way. The will of God will be done His way.
Okay, Dad. There is a quoting that says that there must be something more than misty eye.
Come again?
There's a quoting that says there must be something more than misty eye. So besides love, what was there in Mom that you really saw that this is now the one I want?
I want to tell you something. I'm a bit complex, personally, when it comes to matters relationship and marriage. Because number one, I did not believe in dating or marrying a brown woman.
Take us deep.
Are you following what I'm saying? Because when I grew up, I grew in so much poverty. And the kind of struggle in our family, we had a sister we have two sisters and one brother who took after our father. Our father is brown, my mother is my color. So some of our children, look like my mother, in families. So one of my sisters became sick and died. That must be 204, 205. I think 204, 205, thereabout. I was still a young man. And I don't think it was past 206. It was 204, 205 or most 206. This myself was one of my best friends in the family. Every family, there are those who are close to them. They are brothers, but there are some you are not very. Yeah. So she happened to be among the people that was very close to me. And she had bought me some shoes and some trousers as a young man, and those things were, oh God. One of her trousers I kept, I gave it out. She bought it to me 205 before she died. 205, 206, they're about 204. I'm not sure, but between 204 and 206, she died around there. But she bought me a few months before she died. Do you know I kept that trouser? The shoe, I can't remember where it went. It was a white trouser, and like this one, with material like this one. I kept that trouser from 205, 206 till 2019, 2020. That trouser, I gave it to somebody as a seed. Because that person was staying in my house. And that time now, I didn't want to wear the trouser again. Because I was feeling it's like a soul tie. Because why would I keep a trouser I'm not using over these years? I'm talking about 206 to 2020. That's a lot of years. They will just wash it, iron it, take it back. Once in a while, when my spirit leads, I'll go and put it. 14 good years. So, I loved the sister. She was brown, very beautiful. But when she started becoming sick, she started looking pale because of her color. And when somebody is light-skinned, they usually, when they get skin attack, you can easily know. And the attack was not good for me. And then I begin to say, okay, if I marry a light-skinned woman, poverty was in my mind. That if we struggle and we are poor, people will know. Because I grew from poverty, so I knew that anybody who is not light-skinned, you can easily hide poverty. But when somebody is brown, when they struggle like that, you begin to know because the skin begin to communicate. So that was a background. But again, I was like, these days when I'm mature, I'm asking myself, so who told me we will be poor? who told me that we will suffer to a point that people will now know. So, to begin with, if I was to look for a lady to marry, it was not part of it. But again, I was taught to obey God so much. As a young man, I was growing. I was following God, not what the eye could see. Because remember, we are confirmed the Lord has spoken in a week or 7 days. And straight without even asking a lot of questions, before getting to know her and where she's coming from, I go straight to plan wedding. Do you understand? Today, if you ask me, I would say maybe you know the shape or you know the face, at least. By that time, the only thing that was moving me is what is the Lord saying. So I married based on the leading of the Spirit, which has really helped because, you know, marriage is a lot of issues. Because though God speaks, also you need to see what you like in a woman or in a man, because again, it's about a lot of things. But as far as I'm concerned, if you asked me then what physically drew me, and again, like I've said, poverty had dealt with me well. You know, there's a way poverty can deal with you until you don't think proper. And Mama was equally a hustling young lady. She didn't have formula. She was not like the way you see her today. I was not like the way you see me today. So the only thing that was moving me is what is the Lord saying. Because even if you choose good girls you want to marry, you can't marry them. Not because you can't talk to them. You can't afford. Financially. So that one I removed from my mind. I said, these beautiful girls you see passing here, you stress me for nothing. So me, I was just praying, God, whatever you show me, let me struggle with it. But that's what you have shown me. So for me to answer that part, I think at that time I had not known so much around that. The only thing that moved me that time was so much of church and God speaking. Even if God would have shown me somebody else, maybe that's what I would have done. It's today that, you know, with time, you also grow to understand different things. I had grown of age, but I had not, you know me, I've grown in church. I don't know these clubbing things. Yeah. Born in church, grew in church, got born again in church. So this clubbing, drinking, smoking, going out, dating and so on, me, I grew in church. I went through school. When the church I was fellowshipping in, they are the ones who used to do a fundraiser every term to help me raise school fee. I lived in church when I was doing, I think, Form 3 and Form 4. Literally like this one. I lived church. The church was built at a toilet inside, and there was an office, pastor's office. And in the pastor's office, there was a pastor's room where you would change your sleep. That's where we slept with a friend of mine for some time. I don't know where he is now. We became friends because we were staying in the same church. His problem was equal like my own problem. So with him, he was going through a college, but he was elderly than me. Me, I was going through high school. So the pastor said, instead of me using this place to be changing, let me give you guys to be staying. So I stayed there for 2 years. So I didn't have space to even associate with my peers to know what is happening outside, because I was interacting with people that were not my age mate. And the reason I was bringing them close, only them, was because they are the only ones who could help me at that time. Then, I also knew that should I allow myself to start mixing with these young people, then I start misbehaving, I lose my support from the church. And then this support I'm getting from the church is because of God that is touching them. So if I offend God, they will also stop. So for whatever reason, maybe because of fear of losing the support, maybe I didn't do it genuinely from, you know, my heart is genuine doing it. No, but whichever way, I did it regardless. So by the time now I'm coming to Nairobi, getting to know I want to marry, blah, blah, and so on, I'm so much into church. That time we were also staying with my reverend in the same place. Actually, where I was staying, I'm the one who told him there's an empty house. So we are cooking. His wife was in the village. He was coming from Busia. His wife was working in the village. He is here. We are cooking and eating from the same pot. So I was just like in another church. And then I think before that time I had bought a car. And that car, I sold it before I married Mama because of the challenges, financial challenges. This car now even brought to a prison because I have to rush to work in the morning. From work, we were doing service Monday to Sunday every day. From 5 to 8 every day. Whether Bishop is there or not, then he was Reverend, I would be in the service. I will be playing the keyboard. I don't know how to play it well, but that one I know. That one I will do. I will set a microphone. I will sing as I play. When I finish, I will lead prayer. When I finish, I will preach. I will preach as if I'm preaching to people I'm alone. So when I'm preaching, somebody may think there are people in church. So 1 or 2 members who stay around will drop. So we then did that also for a year. So I will be leaving town, rush to church, run to our service, run to the house. Sometime I'm not going to cook again. Remember, we are with the Reverend, and he can't cook for me to come and eat. He's elderly by far. By that time, I'm in my early 20s. He's in his early 50s. So he's like double my age. So for what, by all standards, even me by my training, I couldn't allow him to go and cook for me to come and eat. So whatever I'm doing here, sometimes I would just go to the house, I find him, he's watching. He said, how was the service? I said, God was our strength. How many people came? I said, I was alone. He said, no, you don't say that. You say I was with the angels. I say, yes, sir. Sometimes I'm angry. But are you not the senior pastor of this church? Why are you giving me too much work? I didn't know he was training me for today. So he taught me to preach for empty seats. So today I'm not moved when people are less or more. So what I'm trying to say is this. I was one weighed, which was not very perfect from what people say, but by what I've explained, for some reason, I didn't marry because of the looks. Because I was even rebuked from even thinking that direction. And poverty was also sitting on me. And, oh God, may poverty not find peace wherever it is.
But there was a statement that you made earlier on. You said, as much as, I paraphrase, forgive me for that.
Mm-hmm.
You said, as much as God was, there is, these days growing up, now I understand that there is God's will, but then because marriage is complicated, you mentioned something similar to the word choice. Help us understand what you mean. Because in the event that one of us, now we know the will of God, where then does choice come in if we know this is what God is saying?
You know, like he asked a question. We are living in the world, though the world does not live in us. Because we are born again. So the world is not in us. But physically, we are in the world. And that's why when they pinch you, feel pain. When you don't eat, you feel hungry. But when you eat, you feel satisfied. Meaning that you also have feelings. You are human. So the human part of you then determines that though you are praying for marriage, but you don't pray when you close your eyes. You allow God to use your eyes to see.
Again, probably that. What's probably the best age bracket
for marriage?
for marriage?
Okay, I'm answering. Yeah, that's I should go deeper. I think I explained. I have said, as you are praying for marriage, the reason why we have many divorce and separation, thank God has helped me that I didn't go through that for the last few years I've been in marriage, is that people married and they were praying with eyes closed. They were like, it's whatever God give me. And then later you realize where the beautiful girls are not yet born. Because you are human. That's why I said we don't live, we live in the world, that the world does not live in us. Meaning to say we are physically mortals, we can see. But we don't have choice to make like people of the world. But even though, you also see what they see, because we dwell among them. So what I would say is, when you pray with your eyes open, meaning you allow God to help you see, so that also your will and God's will now can be aligned. Because it's not only God who is speaking, even bringing to you. Adam is the one who saw Eve and said, this is the rib of my rib, the bone of my bone. Because it also needs your participation. That's what I'm trying to say. Then we were not told that. We were told you don't try that. Because even talking to a lady in the church was in itself sin. Having a number of a woman who is not your gender, is not your sister. What are you doing with the number? Do you want to commit fornication? You know, so in those days there were not this WhatsApp and so much that later came, but Facebook was there. So, and then even accessing cell phones was not easy for us in the early, the early 90s and the early 2000s. So what I'm saying is this: you pray for a marriage when your eyes are open. I think that's now well cleared. Then I answered his question. He asked, what is the good age bracket for somebody to marry? Few things comes to play. One, there are those people that it doesn't matter the age, the family they come from most of the time. Because some people will say, your elder brother is not married, so traditionally you shouldn't marry ahead of him. There are those ones. Yes. There are those who will say your elder sister is not married, so you cannot marry. So there's that part that plays, which I don't advise, but I don't encourage parents to tame people when it's their time of breakthrough in the name of somebody who has not yet broken through. Because things matters marriage. We have come to grow to understand that it's God who can help somebody to marry. Right? 2 is about also preparedness. Somebody can be young but prepared ahead of the other. Psychologically prepared, emotionally, financially. Somebody can be young in age but matured in the spirit. Somebody can be old in age but reasoning like a small baby. So yes, his age should marry, but his maturity is still questionable. You even doubt how he's even to cope with the wife. You understand what I'm saying? So that one also comes to play. The number 3 is financial preparedness. I would want to encourage this generation that in as much as you feel is your time and God has spoken, and is your age, and everything is in time, try to have something in your hand, however little. You must not have millions, but at least have something in your hand. So that when this woman or this daughter of somebody is coming to your house, at least let them not come and start feed you. And those who have married women who are working and they are not working will understand what I'm saying. Number 3, before I get to age, because I say age is but a number, but I will give you an age that I think for ladies and for men is doable. I think for a lady from the age 20 to age 30, a lady between 20 and 25, because ladies, let me believe God for word of wisdom. Ladies age like milk. Men age like wine. Can I explain? The more the wine takes, the more expensive it becomes. The longer you keep the milk, the longer it gets spoiled. So when a woman stays longer without getting married, she gets out market. But when a man stays longer, a man doesn't get out of market. In fact, if you can marry at the age of 30 or 40, and you have money and you can make sure that you have money enough and everything that can take care of. The only challenge is you are marrying at 40 as a man and you are still poor. You are 30, 35 as a man and you are still poor. So even your age is a waste. You see the risk now? So for a man, even if you are 30, 35, 40, there's no much. A man concern begins when you are now 35 going to 40. But now it becomes worse when you are 40 as a man, you are still not yet married. It doesn't matter what money you're looking for. Even the society begins to look at you as if you have a problem. So I'm really addressing the age matter now. So for a man, I would advise a man to marry from 30. If you ask me. Me, I started early. But the safest is 30 because at least you will have hustled enough. But it's not a must. Even at 25, if you have something you are doing, do you understand what I'm saying? And you feel you can handle a woman. Because one thing you need to know is that a woman is the only being that had a meeting with Satan in the Garden of Eden in the absence of nobody else, and the two of them had fellowship. And he came and reported to Adam. Adam doesn't know the details of their meeting. And nobody till today knows how long he stayed with the Satan. So if you want to stay by a woman and successfully marry and say you married, see, like for example, your father died with your mother together. If you want the same to happen to you, then you need to mature, which is not age. Don't confuse maturity and age. You can get somebody who is 20 or 35 or 20 that are mature than somebody who is 40. What I'm addressing here is maturity in the body and the soul and the spirit. Woman, number one, I said, holds age like milk. So I'll talk about their aging as milk in terms of age. Man, age like wine, so age is not a problem. But again, when it becomes too much, it becomes a concern. But I say that is happening because you need to understand a woman very well. Remember, a woman is created out of the rib. Is that not the scripture? That's the scripture. Have you ever seen a rib that is straight? If you touch your ribs, confirm, are they straight? They are carved. God removed a rib that is carved and created a woman. Why do you expect a woman to be straight? And I want to tell you there is no woman under the sun who is straight. Not in terms of committing sin. In terms of having a weakness. They can never be perfect. Because they are created from something that is imperfect. The byproduct itself was imperfect. Are you following me? Because the Bible said he made him to sleep and he took a rib. God did not say he took a bone from the leg. At least this one is straight. So meaning every woman you are going to meet will have something in them you don't like. Does it make sense? Equally, they will have something in you they don't like because they are coming from a man who is also not perfect. Are you following what I'm saying? So then a man I would advise, the earliest I would advise a man to marry is 25. But anything below 25 depends with the person who is married. I'm not saying it's wrong to marry before 25. No. I married at 23. That's the first time I started this thing. So I've been around for some time. But I also had a fair share of battles because of issues that I have to handle. Okay? So I would say 25 going up. Between 25 and 30, a man can marry. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay. Perfectly okay. 30 now fully matured. 35 is beginning to waste time. 40 is late. 45 is deliverance. 50, we leave him in God's hand if a man has not married. Now, for a woman, a lady, I said the age 20, because a lady and a man usually have challenge. If you check ladies' even skin, they're usually softer than man, practically. That is how God has created a woman. Our skin is a bit tough. And that's why we can do hard things and we don't fall easily. If you expose a woman to do what a man is doing, it will challenge her. Naturally, the Bible calls them the weak creation. So then, a woman begins to pray about marriage at the age of 20. At the age of 25, it's still okay. At the age of 30, she's beginning to be late. The age of 35, she's very late. The age of 40, we leave her in God's hand. Now you see the difference now. Because even scientifically, at the age of 40 going up, a lady can easily, because of the generation we are in, go into menopause. Before then, women, because of food you were eating, could even start menopause at 50. Yeah. But you know, most of our generation today, some even start as early as 38. 37, she began to talk about issues that all women should be talking about. It is not our fault. It's the environment we live in. We get, pizzas and these things. Before you know it, your system is confused. So if you ask me, it's not biblical. It's just a prophetic advice that I would advise based on experiential knowledge, that a woman marrying before 20 can be pretty early. Because again, even for the woman, she needs to mature of age to be able to handle a man. Because a man is a king and a woman is a kingdom. Can I go deeper? A man is a king, a woman is a kingdom. Why am I saying a man should mature in mind? Is because you are going to be a king over a kingdom. And every kingdom has its challenges. And that's why I said no woman is straight, meaning every woman has a challenge. So have you matured? That you will not say, I didn't know this one. Oh, if this is marriage, let it be. Are you going to talk that way? Or have you matured to know I'm in charge? So whatever is not right, let me perfect it. And then for the woman, you are going to handle a king. Have you mastered the art of handling kings? And who told you at the age of 17, 18, you have grown up enough? In the days of our mothers, they could marry at 16, 17, 18 very easily because they didn't go to school so much. They go to school small, before you know it, they are busy, So today people go to school, people meet a lot of things. People rarely take time to learn what marriage is. Because people are busy in school, going for outing, they call it going for, party, partying, birthday here, birthday there. A young girl, a young man doesn't have time to think of, after this life, I'm going to be married. And I'm going to deal with a man for the rest of my life. So it's not about clubbing and doing this nonsense I'm doing here. Can I think? So that life, that time, and that space doesn't give a young girl time to think about tomorrow. And then they marry in that environment. A young man will marry a lady they met in a party. They were drinking together, thinking that they are in love. Can I tell you something? The Bible says love conquereth all things. But I want to tell you today one thing about marriage and love. Don't marry because you love somebody. I've seen people who married in the name of love but divorced because they later said, it's not what I thought. I thought this woman, I thought this man. What keeps marriage is ability to understand each other and entertain each other. When you look at a woman like this, by the grace of God, you feel if she can become stupid, you can get grace to entertain that stupidity. And the same with the woman, she will look at you like this, she can tell I can entertain the nonsense in this one. Because that nonsense will come tomorrow. And when it comes, it will require you to entertain it for you to continue. But love is very beautiful, and I encourage people to love somebody they want to marry. But what I tell you to check if a man or a woman fears God. Because a man who doesn't fear God will not respect you as a woman. A woman who doesn't fear God cannot respect you as a husband. Then number 2, check our ability to entertain challenges that you have. Is this a woman that tomorrow if I lack money, she can still entertain me? Or she's just coming because she's told that my father used to have a supermarket, that she'll be going to be the manager of that supermarket. If that supermarket is closed, will she still be my wife? Will she entertain me at that level? That's what I would want my sons to marry. And that's what I would want my daughters to marry. A man that, yes, the lady was today beautiful, have shape, look at the face, everything you are looking for, oh my God. Then tomorrow sickness, boom. And body shape can wither when exposed to attack. Then she loses weight, or she get pregnant and she get what they call baby fat. She become too fat than like, what kind of nonsense is this? I've seen a man who told a lady in South Africa, it was trending on social media. He said, this is not the one I married. It was on social media. I don't know if you saw it. If I get it, remind me, I will show you, I will send it to the group, send to the youth. He said, the one I married was not like this. Go and fix once you get in order. So what the man did is, he said he realized the wife was becoming too fat and didn't like the wife to be that fat. So he started cheating. So that he can give his wife stress so she can reduce. You listen to that clip. You have heard of the story. So that the wife, so when the wife now was too much stressed, she regained her shape. And now he say officially now I've stopped cheating.
That was the tautology there.
That was stressing that person for nothing. What I'm trying to say is this. I don't advise people to marry out of the looks. Yes, it's good to see what you like, but it should not be one of your standards. To me, the character is key. And how will you know a character of somebody you have not stayed with? Because motivational speakers will tell you, marry a lady with good character. Who told you a bad person will show you their bad character before you marry them? So is the mission impossible? So what I say is this. Marry somebody who fear God. At least if they can't listen to you, they can listen to God or the man of God or the parents. Because anybody who respect and fear God and respect anointing can at least respect somebody. They have proved they can fear something. But one that doesn't fear anything, even you, respecting you may not be easy. That is both for a lady and for a man. The main thing I would tell the youths in terms of marriage, if you marry a man, make sure that man fear God. Make sure that man, at least as you look at him, is somebody that you can tell doesn't have some extremes that you cannot handle. Which is very easy by the leading of the Spirit. You can tell. People who can have extremes, you can tell. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, because the people who can have extremes, you can't entertain. But the people, even if they have what they call extreme, it's still within your reach. So I was replying to the age issue. For a lady, should comfortably think about marriage between 20 and 30. Any lady between 20 and 30 should not kill herself giving sacrifices on an altar to marry a man. But when a lady gets at 32, 35, then begin to now check if there's an altar involved or powers from a village. And when a lady gets to 35 going to 40, then she needs to see a prophet one-on-one and seek what is the Lord saying about my marital situation. Then any lady above 40 now need what we call operation. I must marry. Where you don't choose. You say, God, whatever you give me in the name of a man. Now, then for the men, now the age is in my own standard it differs with 5. Between now 25 and 35, a man should be ready to marry, but without pressure. But after 35 to 40, we begin to do special prayer points. Because between 35 and 40, why have you not been married? After 40 to 45, then now that man need to raise all sacrifice, because maybe his father also divorced the mother, or there was a problem. So we need to begin to do what they call spiritual clinic and do some search in the prophetic realm. After 45, your own case is different. We do for you operation, you must marry. We go and collect for you one, the husband died. Or we go and see what we can do. So we can salvage your situation. Because as a man, what are you doing at 50? You are not married. Unless you married and divorced. That's different. Or you married and separated. That's different. You've never married at 45, you're going to 50. Never married, never tried. We need to gather company of prophets and apostles and ask God by Urim and Thurim. And we ask God, please speak by Logos or Rhema, whichever way. We want to know what's concerning the man. So, the society has made it look like a lady at 30 is like very old. I wouldn't agree with that. But again, I'd said, at least from 25 and above, a lady needs to be concerned. Why? Because a lady at 20 to 30, still her system is in order to give birth even quickly. She has even the ability physically to take care of her children. A lady between 20 and 30. Even if there is poverty or any challenge, any sickness, even age allows her. A lady at 40 going up, now the difference, there's a lot of difference. Because I'm not talking about scientific aspect, from the spiritual angle. Is that a lady at 40 begin to settle. So she settles when some part of her life is not settled. Because she will be pushed between 30 and 40, even by peers, even by family, even by her own self. If she take that 10 years, that marriage did not happen, it's like she get to a status quo. She begin to accept. And that's where now you find ladies looking for a man to have a child. So she is a single mother of one, but she's never been married, but she has a child. She's never been married in her life. Meaning, how did she get pregnant? Where is that man? He's not with her. So that time many ladies get that confusion. So I think if I was answering in terms of age, I don't explain. I think that's what I'm explaining. Age, man 25 and above should now be ready. But if a man is ready at 23, 22, I married that early, so I have no problem. But at least there's a fair share of challenge that you must face by reason of age. Because if you're marrying at 23, I am sure the person you're marrying is also either younger. What I need to address is, what is the age difference?
Yes, that was funny enough the next
Question. What age difference should marry? I want to put it in two contexts. One, like I've said now, you know, after, in terms of which age a man should marry, which age a lady should marry. So what is the age difference? I would say, for a man, if you marry anybody who is 5 years older than you, maximum, that person you are still within age group. If a lady is 5 years old, you are still within the age group, at least you can still reason. A lady who is above 5, between 5 to 10 years older than you, you can't match her reasoning ability. In most cases. And she will also fail you as a child. Because she will be seeing you as her junior brothers. And sometimes you want to give her direction as the man of this house. And she's looking at you and she knows your age. And the one in her own family, she's been commanding, who is your age. So you will always have issues of respect. She doesn't respect me. She talks to me anyhow. It's not a problem. She's your sister. Are you following? So I started with a man. So anything between 1 and 5 years, that's still fair. Between 5 and 10, for a man to stay with a lady who is 10 years older, that lady must fear God. It has to take the fear of God and good home training. A woman who is well trained by the mother, who has come from a family that believe in marriage must work. And father, your husband is the father of the house. So that home training and God fear, fearing the fear of God, then now can make a woman who is older, even than 10 or even above, stay with a man who is younger, very comfortably. Is that okay? Which now is rare. Because somebody can have a good home training, but she doesn't fear God. Or can fear God, but doesn't have good home training. So even though she wants to do the right thing, she finds herself misbehaving, not because she doesn't want. Paul is saying, whenever I want to do a good thing, I find myself doing the contrary. So finding two in one person, in most cases also is not 100% easy. Now, for a lady, also people think it doesn't matter. Me, I also think it matters. Obviously, it's advised that a lady marries a man who is slightly older than her, so that when they age together. Like I've said, ladies age faster than men. I've explained. And that's why, though they age faster in terms of facial expression, not in terms of age. Men just age properly the way they're supposed to age. But a lady might look older than the man, but the man is. Like there was a time somebody told me, your wife looked old, Mama looks older than me. It's not so. I'm slightly older than her. But you know, women, they have that with time. Even if she was younger, she can easily look like your mate. And then as time is going, somebody might think, okay, they will say you are also not young, but they will think your wife is a bit older. So it's something that is common. It's not that a lady is old. It's only that physically, because of that tender, they can easily grow older faster by looking. Okay? Because when they give birth, you know, they lose a lot. Anytime a woman gives birth, she loses a lot. So, like, there is a lot of, like, reincarnation. The word incarnation is not the best. Like, there is a transformation that happens. So So that transformation, some ladies, it doesn't affect them so much. Some ladies, it affects them too much. A lady marrying a man who is 5, is not a must. You can even marry your age mate. But I don't advise a lady, if this one I'm talking to ladies now, I don't advise a lady to marry a man who is younger than you. Because you will be the one to have hard time to deal with the man. And the blames usually is for the lady. She's not respectful. She doesn't respect the husband. Oh, so you will struggle to respect your younger. So I would advise ladies not to marry anybody younger than them. It's not bad, but like I've explained before, it's still okay, right? Up to a certain age, by my own standards, not by any biblical standard. And again, but advice, a lady is supposed to subject to authority. So if you are marrying a man that you can't regard as an authority, then you're also exposing your own marriage. Because tomorrow you will not be able to take directions from the man. Not because you don't want. There is something in you that doesn't want to bow to that small boy. Do you understand? So it's safer if a lady marries any man who is between 1 and 5 years older than her. That is still her age mate. Then a man who is now 5 and 10 years is slightly older, but is still okay. But will be a little bit matured than the lady. So he will, in most cases, that man can make the lady suffer, because any man who is 10 years plus will look at you as a child. So can easily abuse the lady physically by beating her. You know, you can't talk. Who are you to talk? You know those kind of marriages where the man is saying everything. If you talk, who are you? You know, if you talk, you beat you. So most of them, if you check, you realize also age can also sometimes contribute. I'm not saying only the age, but can also contribute. Now, a man who is 10 years older than the lady is equally close to becoming your elder brother or your father. They will always want to talk to you with a commanding tone. So you are still sitting there and I told you I'm leaving. Why are you still not giving me my food? And I said I need. You know, so the man will struggle to explain himself as a husband to the wife. You always want to give orders. And many marriages also failed there. And even those who failed did not know why they failed. My wife doesn't respect me. And the wife is saying my husband is just commanding me as if I'm a small baby. Yes. He feels you are. And you also can't explain it. You have not fixed my shoe until this time. Where is my socks? I'll beat the hell out of you, you know. So any man who is 10 years and above is not bad, but it's not the best thing. If you can marry anybody within the bracket of 1 to 10 as a lady who is older, that is safe. But a lady can marry a man who is even 20 years older. Okay? Like I said, a lady also can be married. A man can also marry a lady who is 10 years plus. But the same applies. The man must fear God and have good home training. He doesn't come from a violent family where his father was beating his mother. So you know beating mothers is the order of the day. So if you come from a bad home training and the man does not fear God, automatically prepare your body for beatings. I've seen men who go to church, elders in the church, some are associate pastors, and they beat their wives at home. Even in this ministry, I used to deal with that when in Bakasi. I dealt with that a lot even in Kimau or in Bolongo. I didn't get a lot, but I've seen it many times. When I have a pastor here, the wife cannot come to church for 2 weeks. You know why? But the husband was here. Hallelujah. You're saying, sir, your wife's eye is already red. You are a man of God. What is your problem? So those things sometimes happen not because of village altars. Some of them is because of miscalculation. Yes. So back to you.
So, Papa, you just mentioned the dynamics. How is it that the lady and the men get to interact in the marriage? Now, particularly tackling the one about whereby people marry their age mates. What is usually the trajectory of interaction that usually happens? Because as you were mentioning, for example, if a lady is 10 years younger than the husband, there's that commanding voice from the husband. What is the trajectory of behavior that you've seen? And also, why is it not so common that you see a marriage between a husband and a wife who are of the same age?
This happens because, you know, when you marry your mate, like I've said, by age, a woman matures faster. Just like I said, even physically, they will look older faster. The same way, even psychologically and in their brain grows faster. So a woman who is your age mate will quickly pick issues ahead of you sometimes. And men, they don't like when a woman outshine you. Sometimes you will even get angry with your wife, not because she's wrong, because you are the one who was wrong, and now you want to know, why was it that I was the one who was wrong? Are you getting what I'm saying? So a man will just be quarreling, and the woman is like, what are you quarreling about? What I've just said. Because it looks like you want to outshine him. And no, his territory is a king. You know, when I started, I said he's a king, eh? So, and you know, you don't outshine a king. And unfortunately, your age and our age is the same physically, which then give her advantage over you. Not by God's design or anything, just nature. So when you sit, sometimes you talk, she has some sharp thinking. You are still dull. So she's just looking at you and saying, my husband, the Lord is your strength. He's saying, see what I married, God. He's not even picking. You've been talking for 1 hour, you're just arguing out of context. And for her, she can tell you out of context. But because she's correcting you, and you are not able to see that she has seen what you don't see, so you begin to react. So age, they usually fight for that. In most cases, without unknowingly. So there's that battle unknowingly, which then now exposes the marriage. Yeah.
Along those lines, what role should the prophetic play when it comes to choosing spouses? Because as you were mentioning, yes, growing up it was the understanding that what God says, that is what you obey. So within this generation whereby people meet people attract different people, and then at the end of the day they're like, I just choose this person. What role should the prophetic play in
selecting spouses? I will answer that, then I will also I will answer something that you didn't ask, if I remember. One, and that's why I train people in this church, in the school of prophets, to be able to have ability a little to see. So as to know, is this the right person? Because you should be able to see by interpretation, by revelation, by hearing the voice, or by seeing signs here and there. You should have the ability to. You understand what I'm saying? Because by the help of God, even by dream, by revelation, by interpretation, by all ways I've said somebody can prophesy, you should be able to seek the mind of God and tell, although this is the one. Right? But now it takes spiritual maturity, the prophetic, to a certain level, that you begin to hear God small, so then God can use that to talk to you. But then the authority you sit under as a prophet then comes to play. Abraham is old and is about to die. And Abraham is telling his servant, come and sit here. Okay? Put your hands between my thighs and vow to me that you choose for my son a woman, a wife, out of the tribes with which I've told you, and make sure she's a good woman. You know what we learn from that? It means also you can allow a spiritual authority who is matured in the things of seeing God, as a woman and as a man, to also help advise you who you should marry. It's not primarily compulsory. Where you have prayed, you can't see. You say, no, man of God, there's this thing I wanted to pray about. Me, I can't see anything. Please, what is God saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the prophetic should play in 2 dimensions. Either the people praying should have ability to see or hear God, interpret the mind, the will of God, and circumstances around. Or if those can't happen, then they have a spiritual authority that when now their spiritual sight is getting to the wall, can now take it from there and say, okay, this is what the Lord is saying.
I think time does not permit us to hold our Father anymore. Because as we could see as the conversations were going on, this requires a part 2. Because our Father, the tone at which he was speaking is one of a man who is liberal and who wants us to understand the dynamics.
Yeah. And that may be the last question is many youths outside there, they are committing suicide in colleges, universities, polytechnics. They are committing suicide, both the genders, the boys and
the ladies.
What could be the reason that scenario?
The reason is misconception. Because, number one, what they are doing in itself is sin. Okay? Because why would somebody die because of somebody? It means they've been having sex with that person. There was an intercourse. So that attachment brings a soul tie, which then makes the man or the woman feels that this man should not leave me and do this or that. So when that happens, they think the only thing I can do to salvage is to die. Right? So then, the fruit, sin is like a seed. When it grows and it gets to a level, it gives birth. And it gives birth to what? Death. Sin is like a pregnancy. When it matures, it delivers. When it delivers, it gives birth. The baby is called death. So anything founded, so that is 1. 2. The generation we are in believes that you trend when you do the negative. Easily, if you want to trend today, go on the negative side. You just need 1 day. You have 1 million views. And that's why now so much is happening on social media. I was told, somebody sent me a clip of one of the secular artists from my area who sent a video telling people to avoid their children from going to TikTok. That TikTok live at night is not good. I've never had time to do that. Neither do I join people's lives. I only know live when I'm doing it. I don't have any time to join anybody's life. But from what he said, I learned something. Because the environment, the society we are living in, promotes evil faster. If I want to be known the whole world, I will just remove my shirt, remove my coat, remove my tie, remove my trouser, remain with my pants, and begin to prophesy here. Blood of Jesus. I don't need 1 week. They will know me even in countries that they don't speak English. There is a pastor in Ghana who is wearing high heels. Are you aware? You have seen the pastor? It's trending everywhere. He doesn't need to say anything. He just posts himself with his heels. He's already a celebrity. The society we are in is promoting negativity, which now is exposing our young people. That's why death is coming. Because somebody wants to test something negative that he has never tested. So that's when you hear issues of lesbianism coming in. That's where you hear issues of gayism, the transgender and so on, drugs. You understand what I'm saying? And somebody wants to test that drug. I've never tested it. Well, does it look? And then they go to a party, they have it, you say, no, what is it? Let me try. The negativity sells faster. So buying the negativity is not hard for our youth. So preaching the righteousness becomes very hard. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So then now them killing themselves is not any problem, because in the first place, they bought the negative thing. So they have followed the wrong way. That's why you see people in campus. A young man is staying with a lady as husband and wife. Even their parents are not aware. But they go to a church. And when they go to church, pastor does not know they stay together as husband. They even tell pastor, this is my cousin. So that when pastors see you, they know this is your sister, so you wouldn't be even worried. But pastor will know that you are not sister and brother the day you disagree, because one must leave church. Because I wouldn't go to a church that the man who cheated on me is still going. Do you see what I'm saying? So whichever way, we usually know. Doesn't matter how you smile, oh Papa, get this, forget out. Sometimes when men of God don't talk, it's not because they don't see. They know. And not only prophets, even my normal pastor, the way people behave, you can tell these ones. So what I'm saying is this: the evil has been promoted too much against the good. So that death in the colleges and university can become the daily, because once sin has been given room to thrive, what does sin give birth to? So I won't be surprised if I hear that children are dying. But it's our responsibility as men of God to teach. And that's why I'm teaching on such things. Then the youth share it with more youths. And when they see, they get to know that what is happening out there is not good. I was passing there and I saw a man with a number plate that is customized yesterday. Then I was on call with someone. I asked him, I saw somebody with the number plate. It was a Harrier. He said, that's one gay. He's a gay here in Nairobi who is renowned for content creation. Imagine a gay who is doing content creation get so much money to a point that he can buy a car and put a customized number plate. And a man of God is even using motorbike. Why will people not follow the gay? Are you learning something from my teaching? Meaning there are organizations ready to sponsor negativity. You just declare I'm a lesbian, you have money. You just declare you are doing this, you have money. You just want to go and do pornography to pay you. You're already driving a good car. Then every young person wants to go and do that one and drive that car. Because that's what is being promoted. The devil has made it in a way that the environment, the society we are living in, is only promoting but the negative. Are you listening to what I'm saying? So that's why these deaths, you see this one hanged himself, this one killed this one. There are those who kill one another, there are those who kill themselves. Because one sin has been conceived. Sin, as one sin conceived, when sin gives birth, the baby that sin gives birth to. Either the death of the spirit, the death of the soul, or the death of the body. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Papa, we thank you for the opportunity. As always, not only as a part-time host, but I'm always blessed anytime I hear my father speak. Because never have I heard him preach the same sermon twice. From the time that I've been here. That is my own testimony of the ministry. That I'm constantly being blessed, layer upon layer. My brother.
Thank you, Papa, for the enlightenment. I guess most of the youths who are watching this, please, may you watch and share it to more groups so that many of the youths may get an enlightenment on this. This is really helpful in the matters that we are facing today. Please, I urge you to share it. You like and you make a comment.
Viewers all over the world, the time has come whereby we need to part ways. But nonetheless, the wisdom that was unleashed from his altar, it will stay not only in your spirit, but it will constantly repeat within your mind. Because what our Father speaks, his words are spirit and life. Viewers all over the world, I thank you. We meet again, part 2.